China's Hebei Group is expanding its presence in South Africa. In 2013, it acquired a 35% stake in the Phalaborwa mine in South Africa's Limpopo province. The Industrial Development Corporation took a 20% stake in the copper mine. The two have now joined forces to meet Africa's growing demand for steel.
We've broken down into different regions: South Africa, SADC, Sub-Sahara. When you add all these regions by 2020, the base case scenario says we will need 21 million tons per annum. But when you look at all the other infrastructure, urbanization, industrialization of the continent, we're looking at 31 million tons of steel by 2020.
South Africa wants to reduce its imports of materials needed to produce steel products and to make better use of its wide variety of mineral resources on home soil. The new steel mill will use magnetite from the Phalaborwa mine.
One of the objectives that we've got to try to create more affordable steel products in South Africa to support industrialization in our countries. We want to introduce much more competition. And it's in this light that we've been encouraging a number of these projects in using this high-felt iron ore and this Hebei investment using the resource that's available in Phalaborwa is one of those, and we welcome that one very much.
Global steel giant ArcelorMittal has for decades dominated the steel industry in South Africa.
In the continent, there are two areas where there's a reasonable steel production, which is in Egypt and here in South Africa. In the middle, there's no sizable steel production capacity anyway.
While the new steel plant won't compete directly with ArcelorMittal, many believe the new plant will make the industry more competitive.
What I think we are particularly pleased about is that this investment, which is a technology which is a smaller scale technology than the established steel makers in South Africa, will create more competition in the South African market for steel, where steel prices are a problem for our downstream manufacturers, and the availability of steel products is a problem for our downstream manufacturers in South Africa. It will add to the quantum of steel products that are available, and also introduce, as I said, useful competition into that market.
Steel production in South Africa has always been very expensive, largely as a result of all the logistics that goes into it, like the high cost of electricity and transport. Analysts say it's a tough market, and this project may not necessarily mean lower prices.
The current state of the steel market in the country is, well, if not depressed, then certainly not very buoyant. Both Highveld and ArcelorMittal are saying that things are and for obvious reasons, both mining and manufacturing and construction are relatively quiet, and that's a big problem for the steel manufacturers.
But government remains optimistic. Hebei will use new technology that is more efficient, cost-effective, and will also lower the impact of production on the environment.
We know that the cost analyses that have been done indicate that they should be able to produce steel at a cheaper price.
Hebei is expected to start construction of its new plant in South Africa next year, with the first steel production expected in 2017. Upon final completion, the plant will be able to produce between 3 and 5 million tons of steel annually. Sumitra Nydoo, CCTV, Johannesburg.